This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Life is full of challenges. Is your love life one of them? Are you dissatisfied with it? Perhaps you are frustrated with the endless dramas. Unrequited love, marriages that fall apart, rejection, contempt, betrayal, the fear of being alone. Have you reached your limit? Do you want to give up on your love life? Does it seem to be one heartbreak after another? Wait, it is still possible to have a fulfilling love life. However, it is vital to transform your mindset before you can overcome anything. You can then have a fighting chance to conquer your happiness. Learn now to love intelligently with Edward and Ana.
Welcome to the Love Talk Show.
So are you dissatisfied with your love life? You're married, single, in a relationship, but dealing with any of the situations we have shown you in the video you have just watched?
Did you answer yes to at least one of these questions? If so, be sure to always set your alarms for your weekly reminder. We are here to equip you with the right tools so you can use them and have the successful love life.
That's right, Anna. And every week we feature real-life stories and different topics that I am certain can be applied to your situation. So, to start off our show today, let's talk about a battle that we all have to individually fight, because it's a battle that happens inside us. Yes, you heard that right. Each person has their own inside battle, but there are common ground rules, I would say, for everyone. So Edward, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the battle between reason and emotion. Anna, one of the fiercest battles that every human being has to confront,
you always
to fight.
With this, right? You have to learn to be the boss of your heart by using it in the right way. This brings us to our topic today, which is managing your emotions.
That's right. You have already heard us saying many times here on the program that you have to love intelligently. And today we'll provide you with tips and tools that you can learn to love intelligently, learn to manage your emotions, and make the most of your love life. So the first tip in order to help you today is don't feed your feelings. So Anna, if we would put on one side the brain representing reasoning, intelligence, and on the other side the heart, right? And for instance, let's build a scenario here, right? One partner is operating by emotions. The first one, the partner did not arrive at home at a certain time. They always do. So maybe because there was traffic, maybe because there was something else to do at work, there's a perfect explanation as to why they came home late, maybe an hour, maybe half an hour, more or less. But the emotions will already say, he must be seeing someone else. And then, once we start to give ears to one, thought like this, a negative one, which will produce anxiety, will produce worry, that leads to another and to another. And for sure, many times when the other one comes home, as I said, with a perfect explanation, there is already a problem at home there's already an attack that happens. Where were you until now? And it doesn't matter many times what the other one will say. The person has already made a prejudgment that something wrong is going on, and until the fire is put out, many times the damage is done.
Yes, it's easy for us human beings to imagine things based on our feelings, but we have the power to decide, wait a minute, something could happen, something happened. So let me talk to him, let me find out what really happened, why he came late to the house. But it's easy for us just to feed these emotions and bring more problems to relationship.
If the person would react as you just did, it would be a point for the brain. If the person would react as I just said, as I was saying here, it would be a point for the heart, which is a minus. Every point for the brain is a plus. What happened? Is everything okay? You arrived late. Did something happen at work? Oh, and then right? Listen and listen without prejudice. Yeah? So when we are operating by emotions, when we are not thinking, that's usually when problems come. The second one we want to talk about today is eliminate everything related to these feelings. So the anger generated by this, let's say in our scenario here, a false suspicion, anxiety. What negative other feelings we could talk about?
To be angry, you feel the
Angry, anxiety, worry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're worried, you are frustrated, you are upset, you're imagining so many things, and if you don't eliminate these negative feelings, then as I said, the problem only escalates more and more.
These feelings, you grow because you are feeding, you're imagining that, like a horror movie or a story in your mind, and that feeling is not, those feelings is not going to go down, it's not going, it's going to grow.
Because of this, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And you don't even know what am I angry at because I didn't communicate with you. So these feelings rob me of the duty to communicate what you have done that upset me and to listen to you. No, I'm not interested in communicating why I'm angry about. I'm not interested in listening to you because of my emotions. So if we don't eliminate the feelings that these other feelings create, one negative feeling leading to another, what happens? The negative points of the heart grow and grow and grow and grow and grow to the point the relationship will even explode and eventually lead to a breakup.
Yes, big problems.
Yes, why don't you go for the next one?
So the next one is say no to everything that's not beneficial. So Edward, many people when they are already angry, upset, they even start talking to family members or friends. Oh, you know what happened? Oh, this and that. And then, of course, that's going to bring even more.
If you would have done that to me, I would get upset with you. It would make matters worse, right? You don't disclose, Anna, relationship information to someone else without the other one knowing, right? I wouldn't be, if there is anything making you upset or that is making you dissatisfied in the relationship, the first person that I would like you to talk to is me. And if you feel that we need help, then I would say, listen, I believe we should get some help. Okay, you can get some advice from someone you trust, but you have to be very careful with this because we've seen problems happen exactly for this scenario that you just built up. All of a sudden, you talk about a problem in our relationship to someone else that maybe, first of all, doesn't have the experience to give you the right advice. Maybe will tell you to do something that is even worse. How many people they said to you, oh, forget about him.
Yes.
Yeah, very easy for someone to say, oh, forget about her. Oh, forget about him. No, it's not like that. They're not in your shoes. They don't know the investments that you have made, the time you have spent, the sacrifices that you have done in order to develop this relationship. So, of course, we're not talking here about extreme situations such as abuse, lies in the relationship, which is something very serious.
These kind of things, you even need to ask for help, right?
Yes, absolutely right. But when it's something that the couple have to discuss, so there has to be communication, not going in and telling everyone about the problem. We've seen couples have problems because of this. Once again, what would lead one to talk about a problem to someone else? What would it be?
The heart, of course,
so
the
once
feelings.
Again, every time the heart wins, you win a headache. Every time the mind wins, you win happiness, a point of joy, right? So this battle is constant. We deal with it many times a day, right? There's always that fork in the road. Am I going to go with my emotions, with my heart? Or am I going to go with my mind? Once again, we're going to say more this on the show, but we're not trying to say here that you should not have feelings, for crying out loud. That's not what we're saying. We're not machines. We have emotions. But if you want to have good emotions, good feelings, you cannot decide with feelings. You cannot operate by feelings. You need to
be controlled by the feelings, right?
Exactly. Because if that's what you will be doing, you will be showing that you're immature, that you are not stable. And maybe you want stability for your life, but you're not being able to have this instability because you're going by your emotions. You're letting the heart win every battle. And what happens if you think about your actions? I know it's very easy to go with the emotions, and because emotions, I have to, agree, emotions are very strong.
Yes, but as I said before, there are people, they think that they cannot control their emotion. They think that, I'm feeling like this, I need to act like this. So, but you have the power to control.
You just have to know how to do it.
Yes.
For instance, if you had a plant, like a flower on a pot, and all of a sudden you stop watering it, you don't put that flower in the sun for a couple minutes anymore, you just neglect it. What's going to happen to that flower? It's going to die. It's not going to die today or tomorrow, but it will only last so long. All of a sudden you find it dead. And the same thing happens to feelings, Anna. For instance, if I have feelings for someone that I know is not a good person, I shouldn't be saying, what choice do I have? I can choose what my heart feels. No, you actually can't. Maybe your heart will have attraction for this person, will have a feeling for this person, but you can ignore this and say no. Use your brain and say, I'm not going to act on this emotion. It's going to be bad for me.
I'm not going to be feeding these emotions.
Yes, you said that was the first tip. I'm not going to feed this. Stop feeding the wrong feelings and they will go away. Did you write that down? I'll say again, stop feeding the wrong feelings and they will fade away. Just as they appeared, they're gonna go away. And do not act on these emotions. Act on your mind. Let the brain win every battle, and for sure, your heart will be filled with happy feelings. We have more to show you here on the Love Talk Show, but we're gonna go to a break right now, and we'll come back with more tips, interviews, and good information here to help you with your love life right after this. Dear viewer of the Love Talk Show, did you know that you can watch full-length episodes now via our YouTube channel? All you have to do, Ana, is to find the Love Talk Show YouTube channel, subscribe. You're going to find all our episodes there in full length, and you can watch for free. You can even copy the link and share with family and friends. But not only that,
You also in the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, follow us, like, share, and comment.
and also don't forget to visit our website, lovetalkshow.tv. There you're going to find even more information that you will not see here on the TV show. And also you can write your questions. Send us your questions to the email questions@lovetalkshow.tv. All right, we would love to hear from you. Let's continue watching Love Talk Show. Welcome back to the Love Talk Show, and as we have said from the beginning of the show, our topic today is how do you manage your emotions? And usually when we speak about love, people think it's about emotions, right?
Yeah.
But
They
we
connect
speak,
to the heart, right?
yes, immediately.
Yes.
Yeah, love does involve emotions, of course, but to succeed in love, it's not about emotions. What do we have to use?
The mind, intelligent love,
Yes,
right?
intelligent love. And to speak about this and the challenges they confronted or they were faced with in their relationship and how they overcame them, we have here a lovely couple today, Carlos and Liliana. Welcome to the Love Talk Show.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, okay?
Our pleasure.
And you're married,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I understand you're still newlyweds.
Yes.
Yeah.
How long it's been?
2 years.
2 years, right? So usually people say the first years are the most difficult ones. I think it is like this because of emotions. Exactly because of the topic we're talking about, right? We're still adapting, of course, but many times we let emotions get in the way. I would like you both to speak about this. So far, what challenges did you face and how did you overcome? Is anything still a struggle? For instance, in your opinion, Carlos, what were the biggest challenges so far?
Wow. Put me on the spot. Biggest challenges, I believe, was to understand that she's not me. And she has her own way of thinking, her own personality, her own way of doing things, be it in the house and dealing with certain, difficult moments, how she expects certain reactions from me, and me not meeting her needs at first. So yeah, those were the challenges.
Understanding that she's not me.
Yes.
I would like you to elaborate on that a little bit because I used to feel the same way. I was trying to turn Anna into a mirror
Edward.
of me.
Yes.
It's interesting, right? We love the other person, and that's what attracted us to begin with. But somehow, once we're together, it's like we don't like that person anymore that much. We want to turn that person like us.
And I also expect you to be like me.
Yeah, I think everybody does that to some extent. So how did you deal with it? Did you perceive that he was trying to turn you into a little him at some point?
I think so. I mean, at times I did perceive it, but I'm honest to say in the beginning I didn't, because if I was quicker to understand it, then I think we wouldn't have just got upset at each other. So there was times, yes, that he would want me to react maybe in the way he wanted me to react, but I had to understand, I had to understand how he reacts to things, but then I also had to respect it, because even though you said you wanted me to turn into you, I wanted you to turn into me, like talk, why are you not talking? Because with me, it's like I want to resolve the situation so that it doesn't happen again. But every time he would just go for for example, he would go out just to have a cooling down moment, I would be like, but this is not resolving it. So we're back to square one. That was my understanding. But I mean, I don't want to go.
Did you respond emotionally?
Yes.
What did you?
In the beginning, I'm honest to say, I did. Either I would cry, or I would just put like a sad face on. I'll just, like, I want you to see I'm upset. I would just be...
And to us, that's nothing, because you're tough. Like, if you're upset, that's your problem. Who cares?
And
Get on
she
with
would
it.
cry or try to reach out to you in this way and end you. What would be your
Get
reaction?
on with it.
Yeah.
Be a man.
Be a man. Exactly.
But you know what, Carlos, it's interesting because a lot of what you both are saying are things also that we
the same with
struggled
us
in the beginning. Which in the beginning, you know, emotions would blind us. Wouldn't you say emotions blind us? You just get frustrated, you get upset, instead of trying to understand where the other one is coming from or what are the challenges, and then emotions just contribute to, it's like starting a fire and just throwing the gasoline in there.
Were there arguments? What the arguments were about?
You know, I think with us, you see if I'm going wrong about this, but I noticed that our arguments would be the ones where it would be like a silent argument, which sometimes is the worst, because with me, I like to communicate. Yeah, so I like to communicate, but he would want to be silent. And for me, obviously, there's some people that I know they argue loud, but with us, no. It's for us to argue loud is very, very rare. I believe it probably only happened once when I got very upset. But my husband he's just silent. And it took me a while to understand, but he is silent. And for us women, maybe that hurts more because we want to know what's going on inside your brain. We want to figure it out. But yeah, I learned.
I think that at the beginning, what the main struggle was, we both had this thing in mind that, okay, now that we're married, majority of things we have to agree with. But in reality, it's not. A lot of things we're going to disagree with. We have different opinions. And whenever how I would contradict her, at the beginning, it's like it was tough for her.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't kind of accept, she would accept it, she would respect it, but she wouldn't take it in, type of thing. So I was like, okay, if you don't take it in, that's your problem. That's my opinion. I grew up like this, I always thought like this, I'm right and you're wrong. Or if we're both right, okay, I agree to disagree, that's your opinion. Let's move forward. We move forward in
so
disagreement.
from what I see here,
you
are very straightforward, stern, pragmatic, to the point kind of man, right?
Yeah.
And you wanted more details. No, he has to understand, wait a minute, it's not like, 1, 2, 3. You have to understand me more. And because one of the beautiful things, I think one of the most beautiful things about marriage, Anna, is that yes, you do allow yourself to be influenced by the other one. I don't know why we're so afraid. It's like an instinct. We don't want to, say, hey, your way of doing it is better than mine. Let me try your way. Let me tone down here. Let me take a couple steps back. For some reason, we kind of resist doing that. But being influenced by the other one doesn't mean that you're not the person you are. You're still the person, the same person, right? So yes, you allow yourself to be influenced.
And
right?
you become better when you allow yourself to be influenced. I have a lot of him in me, and I'm sure that he has a lot of him. I influence him.
But that only happens when you stop operating by emotions and you start using your reasoning. A turning point in our relationship, that's why we speak so much about intelligent love, is when we understood that we have to respect each other's differences. She will never be like me. She has, a lot of me in her, but she will never be me, and I will never be her, right? And this is, maybe there's newlyweds or couples that are beginning a relationship right now, and you need to understand this. Allow yourself to be influenced by your partner. There's nothing wrong with this. Admire your partner. See what you can, learn. Sometimes one is more mature than the other. And the other one that is more mature also has to understand that you have to be patient, right? So being less emotional, more rational. Once again, we don't want to remove emotions from the equation. Please, You know, sometimes people may be thinking, oh, so I'm supposed to
Yes,
be a robot. No, it's not. That's not what we're saying. We want to be happy, right? We want to have peace. We want to enjoy life. We want to have good emotions. But as we always say, good emotions come from smart decisions. Smart decisions are not the ones made by emotion. That's why you don't let your child run the financial management of a house. Why? The child is emotional. You're going to spend everything in cookies or chocolates. Right? So if you want to have good emotions, you know you have to manage them and have smart decisions. Where do you think, you can both talk about this, that you have already improved? What has changed for the better in these 2 years together? How did one help the other?
What? Do you want to go? Go on. I can hear you already wanting to speak. Go on.
I mean, with me, I personally think I've grown more patient, I think. Yeah. Compared to when we first got married, I was more, I would say, radical.
You're breathing more?
Yes. Like you said now about learning with your partner. And when you become more patient, when you say, you know what, let me just take a step back. Let me understand them more. Let me just see more instead of just taking the decision straight ahead. Let me see. Let me analyze more. Though I'm only 2 years married, but I think, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, marriage is probably like building a house. It's every brick, every structure. As time goes by, you add one layer, one more, piece of the house.
Yes.
And then eventually it will become the complete thing at some point.
That's a very good analogy.
And so that's what I always kept that in mind.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, instead of just doing something stupid, because you're gonna put a wrong piece, a wrong structure in the wrong place of the house, let me just bear with it, be patient, and do the right thing.
One thing that, I've learned, if I could say last year, was to, obviously we are emotional and there's a time for it, but to speak less. I know, again, there's other women that are out there that maybe they don't speak as much as me, but I had to learn, and I think this is what's even been helping both of us. If I see he's come home and he's very focused about something, or he's, still thinking, or I stay quiet. One thing I realized as well, thinking about it now, was I was so happy, and obviously I still am, but I was so eager to get married that in a way I became a bit clingy. I always wanted you, I always wanted your attention. How are you? And sometimes you doing that, you kind of forget about yourself. And I realized that early on I was kind of forgetting about myself. For example, my own work or my own hobbies or ideas that I had. So what did I start to do? Yes, obviously, I'm taking care of him and I love doing that, but also work on myself. What other things do I need to grow on? Because then my focus is like not constantly on him, and then I don't create that crazy expectation. He's not perfect, I'm not perfect either, but those two things of not being too talkative, in a sense, when he comes home, he just wants to chill out, wants to be calm. I get it now. I give him his space. Do I give you his space? Yes. I give you his space. But also I do my own things. I go, whether it's, like, I love helping people. So I go and find out, what people can I help? Who's there that maybe I haven't seen for a while? Or so if I can say, I haven't been 100% just focused on him. Yes, he's priority, but I'm also...
Exactly. And it's important also to understand that when you're doing this, you're taking care of both of you. Because if you are improving, right, then you are bringing something positive for the relationship. Carlos, Liliana, we enjoyed this conversation very much.
Thank you very much.
And once again, thanks for coming to the show and sharing, and success to you, right? And may the happiness only increase and the joy.
I'm sure that helped a lot of couples.
For sure, absolutely, okay?
Great.
And for you watching, don't go anywhere, don't move from that chair. We're gonna go to a quick break and we'll come back with more Love Talk Show just for you.
Life. You might think that you are in control of everything. But all of a sudden, you see it all disappearing from you. Financial life, health, opportunities, family, love life, career, peace. This happens when you are no longer prioritizing the most important, the presence of God. And the only person who can take back control of your life is you. UCKG, helping people to make a new beginning.
Welcome back. It's now time for a Dear Love Talk segment. This is where we read and answer questions that you, our viewers, have sent to us. If you'd like to do the same, please write to us. Contact details are on the screen. Let's go for the first one.
So let me read it here. The viewer writes to us, I am tired of falling in love with the wrong person. My last boyfriend played with me. He showed affection and made me believe that he was the one for me. However, I later found out that he has a girlfriend. And so now I am heartbroken. I cannot get him out of my mind. I cry every day, and these bad feelings are eating me up. What should I do? So, Anna, first of all, we feel sorry for this viewer. We wish this were not happening to you. But what I see here, you said that you're tired of falling in love with the wrong person. So evidently this didn't happen for the first time. It's something that has happened before. There you see yourself in the same predicament again. And not only speaking to you, but to viewers that may be going through the same problem, the same situations, always involved with someone who disappoints you. What I can say to you is that you have to be more careful. And evidently, she's not listening to the voice of reason.
Yes.
If she were, she would be more careful about selecting the partner. You cannot just go with your heart. Oh, I have feelings for you. Oh, you told me you love me. Oh, so I believe. Especially now today, you know, with the age of internet and social media, people can put whatever they want there. You need to be careful. Get references. Talk to people who know this person. Ask about previous relationships before you get emotionally involved, as you have gotten emotionally involved now with a guy who deceived you. You know, you need to go deeper in your investigation. I would say not that you're going to be like with a magnifying glass there or following the person around. That's not what we're saying, but Anna, it's intelligent. Even though we can never get full, the 100% information about the other person. And still, these kinds of situations can happen. But since it's something that has happened probably more than once, definitely more than once, because she's tired of, choosing the wrong person, it shows she has to be smarter about the way of choosing the partner.
Yeah. Now that you had this broken relationship before, you need to learn from this. Not with the emotion, with your emotion. What I did wrong, why I'm just getting...
Feeling sorry for yourself.
Yes, feeling sorry, yes. So learn from this, but as he said, next time, it's not wrong for you to get to know people. You can talk to, but before you get totally involved, think, who is this person? What this person does? What kind of work? What kind of friends this person have?
Yes, and you say that you cannot get him out of your mind. I'll tell you what will help you. stop thinking about him. Edward, easier said than done. The thoughts will come. You know, if you find something else to do, if you're going to be there looking at his photographs, if you're going to be there, you know, looking at the things you did together, listening to songs you used to listen to, you're feeding this heartbreak, and you will only feel worse. So the best thing to do is to disconnect. Disconnect. He had a girlfriend. He was not honest with you. You know, thank goodness that rather sooner than later this was found out. So I know it hurts, but it will heal quicker if you do not have any kind of contact with what you did with this person, anything that reminds you. I remember, Anna, before meeting you, I was in a previous relationship. This was way before I met you. And there was a heartbreak. And even when I was at work and a song would play, you know, because it was a job environment that there was music in the background that would remind me actually of the relationship, I would, you know, just take a 5, go out, so that my mind was not dwelling in the past. You know, your next best relationship will be the right one for you if you are smarter about your choices. All right, that's our advice for you. We're gonna go here for the next one wrote to us. I have been married for 12 years. Not long ago, I had a heated argument with my wife. I wasn't thinking straight when I asked her to leave our house, and she did. Now, she does not answer my calls, does not reply to my texts. I don't know what to do. So once again, dear viewer, this goes to show how careful we have to be when it comes to relationships, when it comes to allowing emotions to get the best of you. Because as you said here very rightly, you were not thinking straight when you did it. Now you're reaping the consequences. Don't want to accuse you, I don't want to, but you were the one who made the accusation. You were the one who got upset and said what you shouldn't say. You told her to leave. She's hurt. You know, I would say the best thing to do is to, I don't know, send a clear message, one definite one to say, you know, I understand I did wrong. We've been together for 12 years. I really want to work on never doing this again. I promise you I'll never do this again. I'll give you time to heal. We have spoken about this in previous programs, that people cannot force the other one to heal like this. Of course, if your relationship up to now, your marriage has been happy up so far, at some point I believe it will dawn on her that this was just an episode where you two had this heated argument, and she should not be also emotional to the point where she won't forgive you, right? She's just gonna take 12 years where things are relatively well out the window. But you also need to work on this. Ask yourself in this time that you are by yourself, why did I overreact? What led me? What unresolved issue do I have in you? You don't say here why you were arguing. Maybe there was a reasonable issue, Anna, to argue about. I don't know. He doesn't mention, but you have to think. If that wasn't the case, if it was not something that serious for the argument to be that intense, then you have to find the root of this.
Yes, so that's why, Edward, it's so important for us not let our emotions to control us in our relationship, even though there are things that upset us. Because when you are being emotional, you say things and you do things that later on you're going to regret, but then it's too late.
We hope to have helped you today with these answers, and if you would like to send us your question, you can always email us to the address that appears now on your screen. It will be a pleasure for us to hear from you, to help you in any way that we can, right? If you don't want the email to be read here on the show, no problem. You can just tell us that. It's not going to be disclosed here. We will only talk about it here on the air should you want our answer to be aired here today, all right? So we're gonna go now for a quick break and be right back with more Love Talk Show. Hello, dear viewer. We are here and we came in the middle of the break to tell you this. The best way for you to learn how to deal with your relationship problems, Anna, is to learn how to deal with
ourselves. If you don't know how to deal with yourself, you don't know how to deal with others.
That's right. That's why we have the Love Therapy. Every Thursday at 8 p.m. in Finsbury Park, 232 Seven Sisters Road, N4, 3NX, and also in some other locations. For more information, visit our website, lovetherapy.co.uk. See you there.
See you.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at this love story that this beautiful couple has shared with us.
My name is Moses, I'm from Sierra Leone.
My name is Joanne and I am from England.
We've been together for about 3 years now and we've been married for about a year now.
But we first sort of physically spoke and met after one of the love therapy sessions. So his close friend orchestrated us to meet on that day.
Our first date was really good. It was in Stratford, I remember that. It was nice. Everything just flowed very nicely. There was no awkward moments, no awkward silences, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like anyone was trying their best to impress the other person. So everything just flowed very nicely.
Yeah, it was really comfortable conversation. There was no stop and start conversation. It was just normal.
Yeah.
Yes, because no offense to all the English people, but I didn't personally want to date anybody from my own background. That's just my personal preference, just because of where I grew up and the people that I was around growing up. I didn't really mix with a lot of English people, so I was more used to other cultures than my own, if I can say. So my personal preference was somebody from another country anyway, so that was what I wanted.
I mean, the thing is, like, our upbringing is completely switched. It's completely opposite. She grew up with a lot of
Caribbean background, African background.
Yeah, and I grew up with a lot of English people, so our upbringing is completely switched. So it's quite weird but interesting as well. So yeah, I mean, I grew up with a lot of English people, so our upbringing is slightly.
It's just like the area and the schools and everything like that. It's just shaped a lot of our preferences, I guess.
Yeah.
Before meeting my husband, I had a lot of failed relationships, so I sort of used to seek attention from boys just because of the way I would feel inside. And to be honest, I didn't really think that I would find anybody that would be marriage worthy. I always wanted to get married, but it was like the boys that I was around, they just wanted one thing, they just wanted to mess about, and they didn't want that commitment. So to be honest, I knew that there was someone out there for me. It was something that was like, where's this person gonna come from? Because there's not a lot of guys around that have that mentality of, I want to have a wife, I want to have one woman, and I want to settle down. Most of them, they're with you for a while, and then after it's like, okay, next one.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I was a womanizer. I never trusted one girl. I've always had like 2 or 3 girlfriends, should I say, because I always say to myself, I would never allow a girl to break my heart, to cheat on me. So it was like a defense mechanism, whereas I would have 2 or 3, and if I see that, oh, okay, this person has a tendency to want to cheat on me, I said, oh, well, it's not my problem anyway, so I've got someone else. But I wasn't totally happy in my love life, if I would say, because it's just like, I didn't truly love one girl until obviously I met Jo, and obviously I used to think that getting married was something crazy. Like, imagine just settling down for the rest of your life with just one woman. I used to think that that's ridiculous. But here I am now. When we first spoke, there's something that she said that I thought to myself, I've never heard that from a girl before. The first time she said to me, oh, before we take this further, you need to speak to my parents. And I thought, okay, speak to your parents. I've never heard that before. No girl has ever said to me, oh, you need to meet my parents, or you need to come and speak to my parents first. And I thought, this girl is different. So that really, it was a shock to my system. I was thinking to myself, who does this girl think she is to meet her parents? But yeah, so that's how I found out that she was different.
For me, he was very proactive, if I can say. Not too long after we first spoke, it was just like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I was like, whoa. But obviously, me being not trying to show that I'm too excited, I just like, okay then, like tried to play it cool. But he was very much like, okay, I want us to, get to know each other. I want to take this a bit further. And he was very, forward on that. He was very much like taking on that role of, you are the person that I want to get to know. I want to date you. I want to, take this further. That's a good quality, because especially if we were to get married, obviously at that point, I don't want a guy that's just gonna be like not doing anything or not taking initiative or not being forward driven. Like, a quality that I really wanted in my future partner was someone that would be decisive and they know what they want, and that's what he had. So that really, I was like, oh, okay, he really knows what he wants.
Oh, amazing.
Stressful.
Yeah. Well, stressful at the beginning,
but it was really good.
Yeah, at the end it was amazing.
It was better than I expected it to be. There was no problems. If there were problems, the people that were there helping were dealing with the problems, so I didn't know. I got to eat the food, I got to drink the drink, I got to go around and see everyone, I got to dance, I got to have fun. Even though by the time the dancing part came, I said, I just want to go home now. So I'm just tired, I don't have the strength, but I can really say that I really enjoyed my wedding day. Like, I don't regret anything. I don't look back and think, oh, I wish I had eaten more, I wish I had spoke to more people. Like, I just feel like I got the most out of the day that I could have done.
It was an amazing day. It was really, really good, and it's just really good to see, to celebrate with friends and family as well. I think for me, well, not even I think, it is one of the best days of my life. When we got married, we saw that, okay, we're quite organised people. I'm very fussy with towels, for example. So that for me is like, it's a big thing. So when you finish in the shower, you go and hang it up. So I'm always like, okay, I'm always the one like picking up the towels and hanging them up, because I see them, I'm just like, I don't want the towels to be hanging around, I want the towels to be hanged. So that is one difference, I would say.
Because the thing is, for me, is like, if I'm finished showering, I'll put it on the bed until I'm ready to go and hang it where it needs to go. But him is like, no, as soon as you're finished, it needs to go, you have to go and hang it up.
It's small things, it sounds silly.
Food portion,
yeah.
He eats like twice the amount that I eat, and it's just like,
I'm a man.
Because when I know, but when I was living at home, I used to cook for myself anyway, so I know how much I need to cook for myself. But it's like, now I'm cooking, I'm not even cooking for two, I feel like I'm cooking for three, because he eats the amount of two people.
Food definitely is different, but for me, because I'm very open-minded, because my family are very Western, so that in terms of the culture of the food, I don't really miss my culture of food, because I'm more used to that more westernized
different food.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, so I'm
not food normal.
I'm not very fussy in terms of saying that, oh, I only want my traditional type food or the type of food that my mum cooks. And if anything, I don't really miss it, if I'm honest, because I'm just very open-minded. So I like to try food from different cultures, and that's the good thing with Jo. She cooks different type of food, and it's not always the same thing. It's always a variety of food. It could be Chinese one day, it could be Italian. Yeah, it's different, and it's good, because with my culture, African culture, it's like it's rice Monday, rice Tuesday, rice Friday, rice Thursday. So it's like rice throughout the day or throughout the week. But with her, it's different. It's like there's a variety of things that you eat during the week, so which is good. And to be honest, I don't really miss it.
I think another thing as well was family values, because he has both his parents together still, whereas I grew up without my dad. And his family are very, very close. His mum calls him every single day. But for me, I'll be lucky if my mum returns my text messages. It's like, with my family, we're not, like, we can not talk for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I text my mum, sometimes she don't even answer me. But with him, his mum calls him every day. They talk all the time. They're very, very close. My mum stopped cooking for me a long time ago, even when I was living in the house. As soon as I earn my own paycheck, you're by yourself, you're dealing with yourself. Like, it's just, the family values are very different. The families we grew up with are very different as well.
Yeah, no, it's true, because my family is more, as she said, very united. And I've always grew up in a household where no one eats in separate areas. So everyone eats together in the same place. So you would have dinner together in the same table. You know, you have your lunch together on the same table. So if you're in the house and the food is ready, you don't have one person sitting on the sofa eating food or whatever the case is. Everyone sort of eats in the same table, or on the same table, so to say. So it's the same thing that I implement in our marriage as well. That it doesn't matter where we are in the house, we always try to eat together, because that's how I grew up. That's how I see a family is.
And that's really good as well, because that's something I've always wanted to do. But me being the youngest in my house, and my sister and my brother are much, much older, so they moved out when I was still young. So it was just me and my mum in the house, and it's like, we'll just go to the living room, sit on the sofa, eat dinner, or sometimes I'll just go to my bedroom, she'll be in the living room and have dinner. And because like the kitchen's would be above my bedroom, when food's ready, she'll just bang on the ceiling and I know that food is ready. I'll just go get my food and like go and sit in my bedroom. So for us to eat apart was quite normal, to be honest.
Whereas in my family, it wasn't normal. It's like everyone was sitting together to eat. That's one of the first things that I tried to implement in our marriage.
Yeah.
So from day one, I said, okay, we have to sit on the table to eat. Because that's something that's very important, because that's how I grew up, and that's how I know for things to be done. I was to say to her, you look good.
You're crazy.
I mean, I say to her, like, I love you every single day. Well, more than once a day.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Yeah, so it's not really much to say.
I love you too.
A million times. Yeah.
And I appreciate you, everything that you do.
I like the fact that she's very organised, which is good. I call her my accountant. It's interesting because when we were saving up to buy our house, she was always the one that said, oh no, you can't buy this, can't buy that, because I started working from a very young age, and I have this mentality where, I mean, if I want to do something, I just do it. If I want to get something, I just get it. It doesn't matter. But when I met Jo, she sort of put in a lot of things in place, like a lot of disciplines in place. That she's very disciplined in that aspect, and of course she deals with the finance side of things. So we don't have our own. We don't have separate accounts where our money goes into separate accounts. It all goes into one account because she knows how to manage things better, and because my organisation is not really great. There's times that she'll even put reminders in my diary, for example, and I'll still forget them. She's like, oh, this is coming out on the 6th of this month, for example, and I still don't remember.
I have all the bills in the calendar when they come out on one day.
And I still sometimes ask her, oh, when does this come out? When does that come out? So she was very independent before we met. You know, she had things in place and stuff like that. So coming into someone like that's life, it's a bit of a challenge, but it was good because she didn't put any sort of barriers or any. She didn't make it hard for me to be able to work alongside her, because there's a lot of people that they're very misindependent, but she still allowed me for us to work together, and which is something which is very, very good. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot, we can go forever. There's a lot more qualities in her.
I think the main one for him, is that he's very calm. Because I'm not a calm person, I'm not calm. I have my moments when I'm calm, but I can easily get frustrated, or easily just be like, no, but he's sort of the one that has like even though I can be rationally thinking sometimes, most of the time, but he's always rationally thinking. And if I'm just like going off on one, he's just like quiet, he's calm, he doesn't add fuel to the fire. And then he'll address it obviously later on, or we'll come to a solution, or he'll try and calm me down. So that's one of the good qualities about him.
It's very refreshing to watch stories like this. If you'd like your story to feature here on the Love Talk Show, write to us. You can then save this footage of you two forever.
In conclusion today, whether you have or not things in common with your partner, whether you are from the same country or background or not, remember that anyone can fall in love. That part is easy peasy. It is also important to remember that the honeymoon does not last forever. To stay married, you must both put in the hard work. This is not fancy, but real life, which involves real hard work. This is why you have to learn to manage your emotions so that you can have a fighting chance at a lifetime relationship of great quality.
Manage your emotions will not just help you to be successful in your relationship, but also with all areas of your life.
So thank you very much for tuning in today. We will be back next week with another interesting topic here on the Love Talk Show. Until then, bye-bye.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.